Welcome back, everyone. We've got major news on the African continent. For some, this is actually breaking news. Algeria approves record 25 billion US dollars defense budget for 2026. This is the largest in its history, equal to a quarter of the total public spending. Now, this is dwarfing Morocco's $13.4 billion and Tunisia $1.4 billion. In 2024, it was $21.6 billion, and this news is coming amidst falling oil revenue and a $40 billion fiscal deficit. This reflects a major militarization pivot, prioritizing defense over education and infrastructure, driven by the Sahel instability, border tension, and the Western Sahara rivalry. At least this is what this post has to say. But this doesn't tell the full story. Algeria is arming up and reshaping the balance of power in North Africa. But if we're speaking of Africa, we need to look at this on a larger scale. By landmass, Algeria is actually the largest country in Africa. By landmass. This is due to the fact that they take up a major proportion of the Sahara Desert. But in terms of the economy size, Algeria is one of the largest economies in Africa. And it's one of the major rising economies in Africa also. Now, it's no doubt that the most powerful country military-wise in Africa is perhaps South Africa or perhaps Egypt. Some people believe it's Egypt, some people believe it's South Africa. And it's ironic that they're on completely different sides of the continent. But nevertheless, their economy is booming. Nevertheless, they have the largest economy in Africa, followed by Nigeria, of course. And then you have Algeria, and then you have Ethiopia, and then you have other countries like Kenya and rising countries like Tanzania, the Democratic Republic of Congo. These are the major economy in Africa currently. These are also the economies that are on the rise. These are also major economies that are on rapid growth. Other countries such as Angola, Ghana, they're also on rapid growth. But when it comes to military power, Egypt and South Africa packs a punch. And Algeria notices this, and Algeria has to keep up. If Algeria is not careful, Egypt could end up influencing a lot of the power that's run through North Africa. So at the moment, Algeria and Egypt are really the main competitors competing against each other for power in that region. And I would bet that Algeria is actually winning. Kind of. Algeria's goals align very well with its neighbor Tunisia, and they're building up on a defense military agreement. Now, this defense military agreement may only start with Algeria and Tunisia, but I guarantee you Egypt will want a piece of this. I guarantee you've got Libya who will want to be involved. North Africa will unite in some way or fashion. They will unite for their individual economical growth, but also for their own safety. The people of North Africa, they have much in common. Needless to say, they have culture in common, they have religion in common, they've got multiple things in common. Halfway from Europe and halfway from Central and West Africa. It's not just a bridge physically, but it's also a bridge literally. In terms of culture, the people who currently live there genetically are a mix of Central, Western, Southern Africans, even Eastern African, but also a mix of Europeans, and not to mention a mix of Arabs. They often don't see themselves as Arab, while sometimes, depending on who you ask, some of them see themselves as Arabs. But these countries in North Africa, they share a lot in common and they will grow together faster. While Algeria and Morocco might not be the best of friends, these things have a way of sorting themselves out. After all, Britain and France weren't always friends. They still aren't friends, yet they have mutual benefits and mutual goals, mutual ambition. They were in the EU together. They helped to build that EU together. So, just because you don't get along with your neighbors does not mean that alliances are not possible, especially with the rise of the alliance in the Sahel region. Now this tweet mentions this. For one, they've seen the benefits of having such a powerful military. Believe it or not, large economies such as Algeria, they continue to rise. They usually don't slow down in military power and military spending. They usually ramp it up. This is only the start for Algeria. Their military is going to grow far greater than it is currently, for various reasons. But this article says, driven by Sahel instability. Some would say there's no instability in the Sahel. These Sahel states are united. They're very friendly with their neighbors. They're very respectable. They haven't instigated any violence against any other country. They actually want peace in their country. They actually want peace amongst each other. But we have countries to the south of the Sahel countries. We have countries at the north of the Sahel countries who do not favor the Sahel countries. Because for a long time, these landlocked countries, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, they've long been exploited by ECOWAS and by North African countries such as Algeria. They've long been exploited. And now these countries, they don't want to be exploited anymore. Countries like Nigeria are also ramping up military spending because they see the Sahel states are united. The Sahel states will grow as one. The Sahel state on average, each of them have approximately 30 million people individually. Put that together, that's anywhere from 90 to 100 million individual. Now because they're alliance, they will act as almost one complete country. The United States of the Sahel, with that large population and with their presidents rapidly industrializing their economy, even without access to the ocean, natively, they're still powerful and they will only grow in power. The Sahel states are also getting their port access from Morocco. They're breaking a deal with Morocco to create a port. That is a visionary concept, propelling them into the future of having access to the ocean. This will enable their ability to export and import at a much more feasible and safer way. And they're doing this through doing business with Morocco. In return, these Sahel states will recognize Western Sahara as Morocco territory. Countries like Mali have disagreement with Algeria about border because there are rebel groups in that area that are fighting for additional independence. But who are they being funded by? That's a powerful question. Where do they get all of these military prowess? So many questions. But on the other hand, you've got Algeria, who could strengthen its air force with the Russian Su-57, a formidable fighter. In recent years, Algeria has become a very loyal customer of Russia. Now, this is only rumor that they could get advanced Russian-made jets, but they've got multiple things from Russia. And the Sahel states are also getting multiple things from Russia and China. Some would see that the Sahel states and Algeria goals align. Some would disagree. It all depends on politics. It all depends on who's in power at the time. And it all depends on their individual interests. So I make this video to say Algeria GDP will only continue to rise. It has one of the largest GDP in Africa. This will only continue to rise. They have great access to ports. They have great access to industrialization, great access to Europe. Their economy will only continue to grow. And with this, their military power will only continue to grow. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about this news development, and I will see you in our next video.